views and opinions expressed by the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, are of my own and no one else, nor do they reflect Beyond Ringside. So, ladies and gentlemen, due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday night on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. This is the To Be Determined show right here, your source for everything that is enlightenment and an education in professional wrestling. I'm the Oracle of Ominous, the Architect of Intellect, the Wicked Nemesis, and joining me are my co-hosts, the Magic City Motormouth, the one, the only, Fast Eddie Lane. Eddie, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm feeling good enough. There should be 4 right now, and if there was, I would definitely not take myself to Golden Corral. That'd be too much damn money.
Oh, Lord have mercy on my soul on that. And, of course, our resident world champion, former NWA Women's World Champion, third longest reigning women's champion of all time, the one, the only, Renadell pile driver, Tasha Simone. Tosh, how you doing tonight, sis?
Tasha is in a very Tasha mood tonight, and yes, I said that Customs wrestlers are whoring themselves out for guys to watch their matches at home and jerk off. More about that later.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Film at 11.
Our first guest of the evening tonight, a man that is headlining the Fighting for Aurora benefit on February 24th against the cult indie icon Christian Haim, the one, the only Jason Nesmith. Jason, how you doing tonight, sir?
Doing really good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. We appreciate you coming on. We've had several people on to talk about this benefit. It's something near and dear to our hearts here. For those that do not know, a 7-year-old is fighting a type of leukemia, and you guys have thrown together a wrestling benefit for this young lady. If you will, tell everyone how you become a part of this.
Yes. Well, you know, it's very personal for me. Aurora's mother is a longtime girlfriend of mine. We've been dating since I was 15 years old, on and off. They live on the other side of the country, and it's been tough. You know, I've been doing myself, well, at least as far as my part goes, I've been doing a lot of digging into my own pocket to help take care of them and do everything that I can. And Aurora is basically what I consider a stepdaughter, if not a daughter, closest thing I've got. So that's really how I got involved. The minute that I really heard that it had gotten as bad as it had gotten, as far as Adriana, her mother, she was let go. Well, not necessarily let go, but she was put on unpaid leave from her work, and that's when it got to the point that I started paying out of my own pocket and just had to really find some way to help out a little bit more. I've got to the point that I can't really help much more financially, and this is probably the best bet for them all the way around.
Now, you are a part of a double main event, if you will. Eric the Dragon Andrews will be taking on the Natural Chase Stevens, and you are facing the Marathon Man, Christian Haim. Now, you're known as the winner, Jason the Winner Nesmith. With that being said, how do you beat the Marathon Man? If the penitent man kneels before God, how do you beat the Marathon Man?
Well, I'm not going to let him run himself silly, because that's not going to work, obviously. More so than anything, I'm going to step in the ring. I'm going to do what I do. I'm just going to lay him down and get the 1, 2, 3. That's what I've always been good at. I've always been good at getting in, winning, and gritting. That's my style. Honestly, I can't let it go too long. He's going to beat me in endurance. He's going to beat me on the run. I've just got to go in, overpower him, lay him down, and take it.
Now, with all this being said, have you done extra cardio? What has been your training leading up to this? Because as everyone knows, when you wrestle Christian Haim, you can go 90 minutes, as you were talking about, or you can go 2 hours, an hour and a half, an hour with this gentleman. That is why he's known the Marathon Man. Is there any special preparations you have taken leading up to this February 24th event?
Honestly, I've been in the gym a little bit more. I've been hitting the heavy weights because, as we already know, as I've already stated, and as you just stated, I'm not going to beat him in a race. I'm not going to beat him in the long run. I've got to overpower him. I've got to put him down. My biggest factor in going into now, into this benefit, my biggest goal is to gain weight and put it down on him. So, honestly, my strategy, Mexican food. That's going to do it for me, Mexican food.
That is a heck of a workout. It seems like to me you're going for the marathon man yourself, a little, if you will.
Headlock head scissors. Oh my God!
Is he changing his nickname from the winner to Rocket Man? Okay.
Oh, that's a Matt Ford gimmick.
Or the winder. But with all that being said, what is the one match besides your own match that you're wanting to see on this jacked and stacked card?
That I'm really wanting to see, I really can't pick them. I can't wait to see Chase Stevens and Eric Andrews go at it, because I've already got confirmation from both of them that they're going to put in everything that they have into the match. So I know for a fact that that's going to go well. I'm honestly, this one's not really advertised the way it needs to be, but the Shane Smalls and Damian Payne match is one that I'm looking forward to, just for the simple fact that I know both of them are technical, strong, hard workers. And both of them have already told me, and they've already told everyone else, that they're going in full blast. And so that's going to be with Damian and his deathmatch style, and Shane Smalls and his actual, former PGUSA tenure. We know that they're going to really put it out there.
Are you familiar, Jason, with a code 197?
I'm not.
You're not. A code 197, for everyone that has Chase Stevens on an event, they have to know that. Code 197 is the code for dead hooker in Chase Stevens' locker room.
Oh!
I'm just going to go ahead and let you know. Well, he seems he likes party a little bit, and not many of these hookers can hold up with him. So just to let you know, if you ever hear code 197, it is the code to remove a dead hooker from Chase Stevens' locker room.
I thought that was a code to remove
I thought
dead.
it was lack of a bottle of vodka.
No. That's a code 420.
I thought it was the code to remove a dead tuna.
No, hooker.
Damn.
Hooker.
Gotta watch my codes.
But Jason, with everything leading up to this, is there anything that you would like to say to the fans that maybe are on the fence to come see this? Maybe they're thinking, well, maybe how much of the proceeds go to this, and any message you would like to send out to the fans, sir?
Sure thing. Honestly, I know that there's majority of them don't give two craps about me. They don't like me. They don't care to see me. The only time they do care to see me is to see me get my face smashed into the ground. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. I can live with that. But this benefit is 100% for Aurora, for her mother, Adriana. As far as the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds are going to Adriana, are going to Aurora, are going to take care of these two. They're a single family, and they need every bit of the help that you people can provide them. I've done everything that I can. I continue to do what I can. And not that matters to anyone else, but I would really appreciate it if you people come out to enjoy a hell of a show, stacked, like was said, from the bottom to the very top. You're not going to get a better show in town. I don't care if you go out to Nashville Wrestling this weekend. That's great. Go out, enjoy their show. It's not going to compare to this benefit. Please get out there, show your support, do yourself a favor on the karma level. Be there.
Eddie, you have all the information ahead of you, sir. If you will, dish out that information, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, the event that we're speaking of is this Sunday, February the 24th in Millersville, Tennessee at the Sawmill Arena, 1214B Louisville Highway. Doors are set to open at 4 o'clock p.m. for Fighting for Aurora. Bell time scheduled to be around 5 o'clock p.m. Also, for those of you that are not able to make it, And for those of you that are able to catch the Ustream feed right now and the YouTube replay, there is a PayPal account set up if you're not able to make it but would still like to make a donation. Please remember, leukemia.ninja@gmail.com is the PayPal account to where you can make a donation. But folks, if you can be there, once again, it's Millersville, Tennessee, this Sunday, February the 24th, 1214B, Louisville Highway, the Sawmill Arena, for Fighting for Aurora.
And admission is only $5. Only $5. Where else can you see a stacked card like this? I mean, how often do you get to see the Boogie Woogie Boy, Gary Valiant? I mean, I'm just saying. Oh, you heard it. And also, hey, but I will tell you guys this: the one person, the one thing, Team IOU. I can't wait to see what Team IOU does. But really quick, Jason, how can everyone get in touch with you, sir? Whether it's for bookings, just for fans, or for more information on this great benefit, sir.
You know, for more information on this benefit, you can always catch me on Facebook at Jason Nesmith. Very, very simple. You can find me on there, Jason Nesmith. There's not as many as you would think. You can also find me on Twitter at Nezhed1, Nezhed1. You can get me on there. You can shoot me information for bookings, for anything that you need. As far as this benefit goes, I will also be appearing at the Sawmill Friday night to go ahead, talk about the benefit a little bit more, to sell advance tickets and any event T-shirts that we may have available. So please feel free to get in touch with me there. And guys, I really appreciate all the help that you've given as far as this goes.
You know, for everything that's being said, even if Tasha wasn't on this, Tasha would tell you this. I know it's kind of breaking kayfabe. I really don't give a fuck. As soon as we found out about this, I instantly told her, I said, whoever you can get on for this, please do. I have kids. Tasha has kids. As you said, Aurora is like your daughter, sir, your stepdaughter. So we want to tell you thank you, because once again, when all else fails, you can always lead to professional wrestling to pull through the sport of the gods. So thank you, Jason, for everything done. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Jason Nesmith. Go out and support it. Jason, thank you so much for coming on tonight, sir.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks you much.
Oh, yes, sir. This Sunday, everybody, if you can get out there, get out there. If not, just make a donation. So, Jason Nesmith, everybody.
Yay!
The winner, Jason Nesmith. I'm sorry, let's give you the proper introduction.
Don't forget to grin.
See you later.
See you, man. Tasha, it is time.
Yeah.
I know you're burning up. We're going to give you your full go. It is the segment that all of the National Wrestling Alliance dreads. They bite their fingernails. They twirl their titty hairs. They play. This is the one. This is the one that makes them the most anxious and the most on the edge. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, the only segment with a world champion as its guide, Tasha knows best. Tasha, what do you know best this week?
You know, I bitch about customs matches a lot. I do. I have very blatantly said that if fans want to order a legitimate wrestling match, that they can say, these are the two ladies I want to see wrestle. They need to contact Lexi Fife with Flaming Ladies, because she is a legitimate wrestler. She hires legitimate wrestlers to do her matches. This is the only customs company that I endorse. There is another customs company that we will call Brand X, because I refuse to say their name and give them any publicity, that not only do they basically do cheap bullshit soft porn, smearing girls in dog food, having them wrestle barefoot, having them argue over whose makeup's cuter. Come on, people, that's not wrestling. Get real. These guys are writing this shit so they can watch it on their little VCRs or their little DVD players at home, and they're going to jerk off and have to clean the TV screen off later. Get real. But at least be honest. If you're going to piss these girls out on film, call yourself what you are. Call yourself a pimp. Quit putting it over that you respect professional wrestling, women's in particular, because you don't. You're degrading what professional wrestling stands for, and you're degrading women. And how dare you say that you were upholding the traditions of professional women's wrestling. And then to top it off, they're really going to rub salt in the wounds of what they're already degrading. And they have these belts. They have these titles, which, by the way, look like they were made to fit Hurricane or King Kong Bundy because they're that big. But neither of them would wear these belts because they're made out of freaking tin and vinyl. And they don't just call them belts, they call them world freaking titles. Half of these bitches can't even spell world. They're lucky to be able to lace a pair of boots. They have to wear the gimmicks that the company supplies, and then they're going to insult a real title by calling a piece of vinyl and tin a world title. I'm so sick of people degrading what I do. And I dare anybody to book these bitches against me, because I will show them what real professional wrestling is. And if they want to make money out of it, at least be honest. Admit you're a wrestling prostitute. And for the company, admit you're a wrestling pimp. But by all means, quit lying to people and saying you have a world title, because as I said, most of the girls who wrestle for you can't even spell the word world. That is my rant for this moment, but give me 5 minutes, and I'm sure that I will be pissed off about something else.
Well, I'm about to add a little fuel to the fire. Now, as you know, I have been to several of these custom matches over the last 3 or 4 years managing Pandora. Here's what a lot of people, I think, don't really know about this. I don't think they understand the gist of this. What happens is these ladies come, and you have guys that call and literally book the entire match. They tell you...
They write the match out.
Exactly. They write the entire match. They'll tell you what they want for a finish, et cetera, et cetera. Now, there are some out there that what they consider custom matches are you determine the finish, and that's it. There are some that go out there and tell you do whatever. Angel Orsini is one of those ones that does not do a full drawn-out match. All you do is you pay what you want for the finish. And what happens in between the bell or the bells is all up to the ladies. If you're not comfortable doing something, you're not going to do it. You have your own finish. You do your move set. You do what you feel comfortable with. And then there's some, yes, I have seen some where the only thing you can do is pull hair. I've seen some where one woman just gets beat the entire time. I've seen some that were bikini, where they just wrestled in a bikini. I've seen jello matches. I've seen the dog food matches like you're talking about. I've seen the dog collar matches, which really wasn't, it was like fishing line in between, but I guess it's the visual. And yes, guys get off on this, but Tasha, you know guys get off on what you do almost as much.
Well, here's the difference. I'm going to be honest. If they want to buy one of my pictures and take it home and jerk off on it, I don't care. If they want to buy one of my matches that people buy tickets to watch and pop it in their VCR, their DVR, whatever the hell they have at home, and watch that match and jerk off to it, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, I'm still a professional wrestler. They're not telling me what to do in the ring. They are not calling my match for me. They are not telling me, I want you to pin this girl with your ass in her face because that turns me on. That's not what's happening. But these girls and these companies, like Brand X, that I will continue to say, because I absolutely will not give them that publicity, even though they have actually been named Wrestling Company of the Year by a couple of websites. How the hell are you a Wrestling Company of the Year when you don't do live events? I mean, somebody please educate me, because apparently I'm stupid and don't know. But what they do is degrade women. It's not just about wrestling. They degrade women. They have these girls wrestle in tights and pantyhose, because that's what, I mean, like barefoot but in pantyhose, because that's what somebody orders. They have girls arguing over whose makeup is cuter. That has nothing to do with professional wrestling. They have these girls bleed for custom videos. That is nothing but degrading a woman. That is a man who has a fetish for seeing a woman get beat up. Those are the same kind of men who are going to go out and rape a woman or try to kill one. And how dare they use what they're doing to make money off of these sick, twisted perverts wanting to get their jollies off by seeing women degraded.
And for what it's worth, these women go out and they can wrestle in just 2 or 3 customs matches and make more in 2 or 3 customs matches than they can in 2 years.
Thank you.
They make bank. Yes, they do. They make bank.
Money. But now
even
I have
the girls who can't wrestle.
But now
even the girls
that,
who can't wrestle.
You are exactly right. But then you have women like Tiffany Rocks and Melanie Cruz and Jazz who go out and do these customs matches, but they dictate what's said. They're like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I will tell you guys right now, Melanie Cruz made Pandora bleed the hard way, because that was the saying. She told Melanie, if you're going to make me bleed, you're going to have to beat my ass. And let me tell you something. Melanie Cruz beat her ass, and she got it the hard way. But there's an understanding. And from that, Tasha, you know this, there have been some all quote-unquote women's promotions that only run every once in a while, that they see each other and they're like, hey, you know, let's throw together something. It's not going to be a customs match, but it's going to be an all-women's match. And then they're going to sell those DVDs for an exorbitant amount of price because you have all women on it. We know that. I mean, they're out there.
And see, and here, I'm actually going to call them out. I'm actually going to call them out because I've actually told Randy Powell, who owns the PGWA, that he's a perv. He may be a closet perv, but he's still a perv. Anybody who demands that girls wear old-school tights, that's their fetish.
Yeah.
That's what gets their penis hard. Let's not lie about it. Let's not beat around the bush about it. If you respect women as wrestlers, it doesn't matter if they have a pair of long tights on. It doesn't matter if they have a pair of shorts on. It matters about the talent that they put in the ring. So I'm so sick of these people twisting what they want to do and using, I'm supporting women's wrestling for it. Bullshit. Admit what you are. You're a freaking pervert. And not only are you getting your jollies filming these matches, you're smart enough to make money off of it because you know there's other sick, twisted perverts just like you that are going to buy these matches. So, as I said, and if anybody missed it the first time, I'm going to say it again, so they can get their little penises hard and jerk off while they're watching the matches and then have their maid clean off the TV screen.
I have a problem with them calling themselves world champions. I have a problem when any promotion, any indie promotion, has a quote-unquote world champion. Eddie, how many times have I called the Unlucky Charms the GCW world champions?
Never.
Never. You're not going to hear it. We're not world champions. We're GCW tag team champions.
This is something too. How can you have a champion that the belt is going to the highest bidder? That's not having a champion. It's not giving any credibility to anyone holding a belt. I say all the time, and some smartass tried to pop off about it to me on Facebook today, and I guess he didn't like what he got back, that I say belts don't mean anything. Belts don't mean anything until a wrestler makes them mean something. And when you have people like this, these girls are not wrestling at live events. There is, I won't say there's a predetermined winner and loser. There's a predetermined match. This isn't real wrestling, people. This is acting. This is acting more so than what you see, God forbid that I'm going to say this, on Monday Night Raw. Some of this is, I won't say Oscar-worthy bullshit because they're really horrible. But hey, guys get their jollies watching fat girls beat the hell out of each other. Whatever. And not just fat girls, some of them are fat and ugly. But whatever.
Eddie, you got an event you want to plug really quick, sir.
Yeah, matter of fact, for those who actually enjoy real women's wrestling, not what we're discussing here, on March 1st in Cleveland, Ohio, from the legendary Turner's Hall, 7325 Guthrie Avenue, Absolute Intense Wrestling, AIW presents Girls Night Out 8, and it is their first ever pay-per-view offering, Ladies Night. The entire card is ladies matches. AIW Women's Championship match, AK-47, Allison Kay takes on a mystery opponent. You've got Kimberly, Athena, Vita Scott, Leva Bates, Crazy Mary Dobson, Antisocial, Sassy Steph, Taylor Made. You've got a lot of great on a live pay-per-view event on Friday, March 1st. So, for those who want to get out of the house and catch the real thing in a real venue, that's where you do it. If you're anywhere near the Columbus market, I apologize, Cleveland, Ohio. I miscalled the city. My bad. 7325 Guthrie, Gutrie Avenue in Cleveland, Ohio for Absolute Intense Wrestling. Like I said, you want to catch the real thing? Get your ass out the house, go to a show, or catch it live on pay-per-view.
And here's the funny thing. 3 of those women you just named off do customs matches.
Well, see, here's the thing.
Yep.
And this is I'm gonna interject this real quick. I blame promoters. I blame legitimate promoters because of the fact that they think that they can get a women's match for undercutting the price when you've got women who bust their ass just as hard, if not harder, than a ton of the guys in this business. Sorry, I'm telling the truth on this, and we all know this. They think they can get a ladies' match cheaper than a guy's match, and the thing about it is, the women, a lot of the times, work harder to make that match.
I agree with that, Eddie, but here's the flip side to that. Here's the flip side. You have the fat, nasty, non-working girls who could not wrestle their way out of a brown paper bag. They cannot even lock up that are doing these customs matches. And they get paid. They may not get as many matches as the pretty girls do, but they're getting paid. So then these nasty girls who can, and they're not all fat girls, some of them are just nasty. Some of them are just whores, and they're cute, and they're little, and they think because they get this money for customs matches that they can hold up a promoter. But what that does is turn promoters off to girls in general when they're being told by some girl who can't even freaking lace her own boots up, much less somebody else's, I want $200 for a match. Well, bitch, who are you? Where have you been? Well, I can go over here and do a custom for so-and-so, and I get more than that. Well, take your ass over there and do the customs and leave the real wrestling for the rest of us.
Leave the wrestling to the wrestlers.
Exactly. There you go. Leave the wrestling to the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Ladies and
But
gentlemen,
that is the backside, the downside to it, unfortunately.
and that's what it's all about. You have to expose the darkness to bring it into the light. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to take our first break of the evening. We're scheduled to be joined by Territory League's own Caesar Black. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, don't change the URL. The To Be Determined Show, right here, the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the To Be Determined Show right here at the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Thank you to Jason Nesmith for calling in to discuss the Fight for Aurora benefit coming up this Sunday, February 24th. Now, something has come about. Now, we're scheduled to be joined by Caesar Black. Caesar, it is 7:30 in California, so my man, it's hectic on the West Coast. But there's something I want to ask you both. And Tasha, I know you don't watch Raw. I know, but I want to ask you something. Jack Swagger.
Who's that?
My boy Jack Swagger. Jack just got Dutch Mantel as Zeb Coulter as his manager. He's doing what I call a Tea Party conservative version of himself, a damn near racist version, one of those, they took our jobs type deal. Jack Swagger was arrested last night with DUI and possession of marijuana. I don't believe in pushes. Everybody makes their own path with your career, whether they believe it or not. Tasha, what do you think about somebody? Same thing happened with RVD. The man is supposed to be going and headlining WrestleMania. RVD was the ECW champion, the undisputed champion at that time, getting caught with marijuana, getting caught with DUI, probably going to be just completely stopped any momentum he had. What are your thoughts on this? How do you feel about these guys and girls that do this? Because it happens all the time.
Well, here's I'm not trying to be Steve Austin, but this really is the bottom line. Whether we like it or not, we're in the public eye. That means that children are going to look at us as role models. Now, Steve Austin went on TV and it showed that he drank beer. That's fine. Beer's legal. It also showed him being like Johnny Paycheck and beating down the big bad boss that was trying to keep his foot on everybody. So what Steve was showing people to stand up for themselves, even with the beer. But that's in front of the cameras. I thought that this is make-believe now. Professional wrestling is not always make-believe. What we show to our public, whether we're on an independent wrestling card or whether we're on weekly TV for WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, whatever, we need to keep in mind that people of all ages look to us to set some form of an example. Our country has absolutely no moral value at all as we speak. To further go out and say, I'm going to blow my career by getting busted with drugs. And I will say this openly, I do not smoke, but I do believe that marijuana should be legal because it's going to grow whether somebody cultivates it or not. I don't believe that the government should be able to control something that's going to grow no matter what. It's different than making opium from a poppy plant. It's totally different. You don't have to process it, it's just going to grow. But it is illegal. So not only are you showing these kids of various ages, you can do whatever the hell you want to, screw the rules, but you're also showing them that you have no respect for the great opportunity that's been given to you. And on top of that, this could very well hurt Dutch's opportunity with the WWE because that was his specific niche. And I think that it's very disrespectful, and I think that it is a pure shame. There is a word that has been thrown around on the internet, on dirt sheets, and everything else in professional wrestling for a very long time called kayfabe. It means keep people from knowing. Keep an effing secret. You want to get drunk? Do it in secret. You want to smoke pot? Do it in secret. Unless you're wicked talking about doing it on air. But he's not driving and he's not getting busted, so it's okay. But my point is, this kid just showed people not only that he didn't give a shit about the law, but also that he didn't give a shit about the opportunity that he's been given. And it's really a shame.
Eddie, your thoughts on this?
I have two positions that I'm going to take in contrast, not contrary, but contrast to what Tasha just said. The second thing that crossed my mind was, in this day and age, considering the factor of the gimmick that he's running, if he was driving a Japanese car, drinking a German beer, smoking Jamaican weed, then I'd be pissed. However, if it's a Chevrolet, a Bud, and Cali Con Bud, then I'm okay with it. Buy American first. And that's the easy way to put a semi-comedic, and I do mean semi-comedic spin on it. But I'm also going to look at this. How many others in WWE have been given second, third, fourth chances? How many people on their roster, even before their vaunted, even after their vaunted wellness policy has been put in place? How many people have been popped for something like herb? More than one or two. So, considering the fact that they are headed straight into Mania, I'm not saying forgive him. I'm saying we got 46 days left until Mania. Jack, voluntarily go to rehab for 30 days. Let Dutch carry the ball. Something of that ilk. But by the
look how that worked for Tammy Stitch.
You can't gauge every circumstance off the results of just one situation, no matter how good or bad it was.
And here, honestly, what I'm saying, Eddie, I really don't give two shits whether Vince keeps using him or not. I can't even tell you who Jack Swagger is, other than that I know he's the guy that Dutch Mantel's working with now.
And Dutch Mantel, to me, is the saving grace for this kid.
But this is what I do say. I stick with what I said. I don't care what WWE does with him. I care about the fact that whether any of us like it or not, the image that we set forth in the public is something that children and young adults of various ages look at.
True.
Charles Barkley used to say all the time, I shouldn't be a role model, your parents should. And that's true.
But our culture...
However, we're still role models.
Our culture...
We still are.
We have perverted our culture to the point where we look outside of our homes for our role models. We don't look at mom. We don't look at dad. We look at people who are on television. We look at reality TV whores. We look at people who are in the athletic field. I'm sorry. Look, I'm a huge Alabama fan. Bear Bryant was not my role model. My dad, my grandma, my mom, dad, and my grandparents were.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if you have to look outside of your house to find that role model, then you're obviously not opening your eyes correctly. But by the same token, we are put in that role. People who want to enter into this profession, into the sport of professional wrestling and the industry of professional wrestling, they look to all of us in different regards. They look to you as a wrestler. They look to me as an announcer and the authority figure as commissioner. They look to the Wicked Nemesis as one of the best managers on the planet. They look to us. We set those examples by what we do inside the venue, but we also set the examples by what we do outside of the venues. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why I cut back on my drinking, and the state of Alabama decided to get out of the alcohol business, because I went on the wagon for 6 months, which is almost true. But we do set those examples, and that's sad. I don't want to be a role model for anybody, but I understand the fact that I have responsibilities when I step outside of my house.
Mm-hmm.
As a business person, I have responsibilities. I have to set the right public image because I do a lot in the public eye. Why do you think that first night that I dropped that first F-bomb here on TBD, that it created such a stink on Twitter and Facebook? It's like, holy crap, Eddie said the F-bomb. Because I don't normally do that in this environment. And I got a lot of flack for it, and I still said it again. But the fact of the matter is, with Swagger, people look to him because he's gotten that second chance from WWE. He was almost cut. They brought him back. They put him with Dutch, which was a godsend, one of the best mouthpieces, one of the best orators in this business. The man can cut a promo like nobody's business. And then Swagger goes and does this.
Well, with that being said, I know somebody else that wants in on this conversation, so we're not going to hold his rage back any further. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we've moved him up a little bit because I know this was something that he wanted to speak on. Ladies and gentlemen, the darling of the internet, the cult icon of the Smarks, the one, the only Smark Rage, Corey. How are you doing tonight? And I know you want in on this. I know you're biting at the bit. Go ahead, sir.
Man, I am fired up. I am fired up. Let me start out with saying, for those who believe, no explanation is necessary. For those who don't, no explanation will do. So, you know, I'm a giant wrestling dork, love wrestling. So before this whole Jack Swagger thing broke, I was looking up a quote by Johnny Valentine, the late great Johnny Valentine, the father of Greg the Hammer Valentine. And he said, I can't make them believe wrestling is real, but I sure can make them believe I'm real. And in the next breath, the Hollywood Reporter, which is a newspaper in Hollywood, did an article about Jack Swagger and this racist character he is portraying. You know, they went out there and they basically was wanting to. They didn't know if the character he was portraying was real or not. The same people who look down on pro wrestling, how it's fake. Okay. With that being said, Jack Swagger, you are a goddamn idiot. Like Eddie was just saying, and they were saying before, you got a second chance, maybe a third chance to come back, and you won the Elimination Chamber. You got probably the biggest. Would you guys say this is his second biggest push or his first big push?
His second.
Do you consider that world title run he had?
Yeah,
Yes.
world title run.
Hell yes.
The world title run.
The title that he lost and they had to let him use a replica belt because he left it on the airplane.
That's a push. If I see, well, that's the thing is what is a push? Really, what is a push? Does that mean that somebody is allowing you to be yourself? Does that mean that somebody is putting you in positions? You did that on your own. Really, all it is somebody notices you, is like, hey, you know what? I can make some money off this guy. Let's go. I don't really consider a push, but I understand what you're saying. But if you're talking about pushes, this really is his second.
Yeah.
So
remember, he spiraled out of control and didn't win for a while. Remember that? Go ahead.
I do. So after the Hollywood Reporter made their statement, the WWE came out and said that the WWE has, I'm just paraphrasing, has a long history of fictional characters that serve as protagonists and antagonists, no different than any other TV show or film and all that good stuff. So the Hollywood Reporter, they didn't know the deal. Jack Swagger is an absolute idiot. Whether he gets fired or not, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for Dirty Dutch Mantel. After losing his granddaughter last summer, the guy seems to be trying to get back on his feet. Got a nice little one more run with WWE forever, however long this lasts. But Wicked Nemesis, and I'm going to put this question to you guys that are in the business. And I've said this on Twitter, and I got really a bunch of flack for this because it was just marijuana. Now, let me say this. I'm not a proponent of marijuana. If you want to smoke marijuana, that's your business. If you want to drink, that's your business. I don't smoke marijuana. I rarely drink. But if you're in this position, people like Tasha Simone, Eddie Lane, Wicked Nemesis, and every other indie wrestler, I will say throughout the world, have probably one of the biggest pushes in their career. Guys that have been in the business that never get to this point, that would do anything to just get a minute opportunity to get that break. And here you got a guy that just fucked it up.
I have a problem with him. I have a problem with the drunk driving. I have a problem with the DUI.
Now stop. It wasn't DUI alcohol. It was DUI other substance per Ryan Satane for TMZ.
Right.
So here in Atlanta, I'm a bondsman. There's a charge called DUI drugs. That makes it just as bad. And somebody goes, well, he didn't kill anybody. He didn't hurt anybody. But what happens if he had somebody in the car and he wrecked the car and he killed himself, or he killed whoever was riding with him, or he hit an innocent bystander? Consequences, whether you are a pro wrestler, an athlete, a famous person, or somebody, if you drink and drive, whether you're under drugs or alcohol, you're an idiot.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that the guy deserves, and I'm not saying that I'm holier than this guy, or Wicked, or Tasha, or anybody else that's on here. All I'm saying is, if you want to fucking smoke weed, wait till you get back to the hotel, man. Don't do it when you're friggin' on the road where...
Or...
God knows if there's a damn fucking a roadblock. I'm not saying that they should fire this guy. WWE policy said if they're caught with drugs, they're subject to termination if they wanted to. This guy's got to. Another thing is, when you do stupid bonehead stuff, it doesn't just affect you. It affects everybody. It affects people he was working with. It affects the company. It makes the company look bad. It makes him look bad. It makes his wife look bad. He's a father. I mean, it's just a bonehead move.
Now, I think the moral of this story is never carry around more than you can't eat.
True. And if you do, make sure to have some Dale's seasoning sauce with you. Great for steak, chicken, and seafood, and hellacious on herb.
Hello.
You know, I mean, like, well, let's just say they suspend this guy for 30 days, okay? Well, where does that leave him for WrestleMania? Let's say they suspend him now. He'll possibly be back for WrestleMania, but his push has stopped. You know, the idea of pushing a guy is, no, I'm not in the business, so correct me if I'm wrong, people who are in the business.
You're wrong.
Well, probably so. The idea of a push is to give somebody, you know, you're trusting somebody, you know, that, you know, it's a guy that's proved himself, and you're going to trust him with this.
To make you money, yeah.
You know, to make you money, you know, good, bad, or indifferent, you know? And it's just, you know, let's say Swagger was to make, you know, $400,000 for his WrestleMania, his WrestleMania day. Here's a guy that just potentially fucked himself out of the biggest payday of the year. And people that were, you know, and people he was working with. And, you know, so you're, you know, it's just, your bonehead move just cost people a bunch of money. And not to mention the wrestling fans. You know, guys don't think about that. You know, most people would buy the WrestleMania because of one or two matches, you know? And I was happy he damn got a push. I was shocked that he won the Elimination Chamber match. But I was like, okay, let's get behind it. And another thing is, people were pissed about about his racist character. Like, oh no, we're mad that, hey folks, I said this last week. You know, you guys want something edgy, and they're giving you something edgy, and you're pissing and moaning.
Thank you.
Well, what about the Nation of Domination that didn't like white folks?
Yeah, but that was in a different genre of the business. Where the business.
Oh, that's right. That's before we had Obama in the White House.
Oh God.
No. What it is? First of all, Fox News is pissed because they use the last name Coulter, like Ann Coulter. Second of all, WWE, if they were smart about this, you know what they would do? They would come out and they would have Jack Swagger and Zeb be like, "What's wrong with marijuana? It's you people that make it bad. You know, our forefathers grew hemp. Our forefathers smoked weed. Have you ever seen Lord of the Rings? Have you ever seen that? They're smoking weed. I hate to tell you that. They're smoking weed."
But the problem is, it's a PG product. Okay? So here you are, you're a company that, you know, that is doing this whole, you know, anti-bullying, anti-drugging stuff, and, you know, one of the guys you're getting ready to push to the hilts, you know,
is a stoner. Oh my God.
Right. You know,
so was Sean Waltman, and they kept him around all that time.
Hey, I want everybody to hold on. I want everybody to lean in really, really close, really quick. I want you to. Steroids are drugs too.
Thank you.
I'm just saying.
No. Oh my God.
Get right out of town. But Corey, really quick, how can everyone get in touch with you, sir?
At Spark Rage on Twitter.
Facebook?
The Smarks Rage on Facebook. And one thing before I leave.
Yes, sir.
My biggest rage of the week is Dirt Sheets reporting every little fucking thing a WWE or a TNA wrestler has to say. If I wanted to know what they say, I would fucking follow them on Twitter.
Thank you.
One last thing. Tasha, I haven't got my fucking sandwich. I want my custom video so I could jerk off to. That's my time, and that's my rage. And if you don't like it, you could get fucked.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Ladies and gentlemen, Corey's Smart Rage. We're about to take our second break of the evening. When we come back, we will be joined by West Coast Domination itself, Territory League's founding member, the man that has begun the foundation, Caesar Black. Don't change that URL. The To Be Determined Show right here, the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the To Be Determined Show right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, this is the part of the show where we need to throw up the parental advisory, because it's about to get very, very truthy in here. And Stephen Colbert, he loves this man. This is Stephen Colbert's favorite manager, my brother from another mother, West Coast Domination himself, founding member of the Territory League, and now the foundation, the one, the only, Caesar Black. Caesar, how you doing tonight, sir?
Yo, what's up, man? It's been too long. It's been too long, bro.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're just going to dive right into it. You've been causing quite the stir out in Territory League now. So what is going on with the foundation?
The foundation is it's actually the foundation for a better tomorrow. I think that pro wrestling needs a better tomorrow, and I'm putting together a little unit that's going to bring a better tomorrow. We'll call this the foundation because we're going to build and be pretty much unstoppable by the end of the year. You're going to hear a lot about us.
Now, you were one of the men on the forefront of Territory League, and you were a man that was, no stranger to controversy. How can you top everything that you've done so far now completely, with a better tomorrow, sir?
I'm looking at, the problem with wrestling is, unlike the rest of the animal kingdom, when old dogs and old lions are, time to be put out to pasture, they leave. Wrestlers, they don't leave. They just keep wanting us to respect them and give them money and lip and cripple their way into paychecks, and I'm kind of sick of it. You know what I mean? It's a spot thing. I come from the hood. When you want a block, you have to pop them off the block and take their spot. And a lot of guys need to be taken off the spot. They're not interesting anymore. They're boring. And I'm not really a nostalgia guy. I was never really big on nostalgia. So I'm going to be looking to take out some legends and just and really just kind of put my foot where their foot used to be and show people that their time is over and my time's now.
Now, I know Adrian Bonner, the boxer, a good friend of yours, has been hanging out with you. He actually kind of, I don't know, really stole, but you were nicknamed the Problem for a long time because that's what you do, is cause people problems and getting the job done. How do you feel with all the success that you're doing and with Adrian doing, and now here you are completely reinventing and turning Territory League on its ear? Can this be done? Do you feel that this is something that you can progressively get more and more successful with, sir?
Well, I just feel like I'm an evolutionary catalyst. I think that things don't change unless you make them change, and it's not always the popular decision, but some things have to be done. And I just think it's better for you in the long run. It's better for me in the long run. It's better for Tasha in the long run. It's better for people that are actually trying to make a name for themselves to come on and be like, look, I don't need 5 legends in the locker room. Sorry, legends. I got 5 young guys who need that money. We got the style. So that's what the territory, my new group's going to be about. Showing people that we don't need to have a legend on our team to draw, for one. We got to start making it on our own and draw. Every time you have an indie show, you shouldn't have to put a half cripple on the show to make money. You should be able to make money with the guys who you've been building around, and building guys up, and promoters need to get better at building their guys. And if they're not going to do it themselves, I'll take it upon myself to do it.
Why do you think that it's so hard for promoters to get that through their skull, that you have young talent there for the pushing, instead of bringing in these old codgers that need to be put out to pasture?
It's fear. A lot of guys, it's a fear game. Wrestling's a fear game, and it's a weird tie-in. And I'm not trying to segue this, but being black in this business, I don't feel like we've been respected to need to turn around and give respect. You know what I mean? There's a weird, I have a weird. I have a different vision of it. As far as I'm concerned, when it's my time, it's my time. Just like on the pop charts, just like in the Animal Kingdom, it seems like everywhere but in wrestling, they've gotten the message. When it's your time to move on, it's your time to move on. This is the only sport that happens in. Ray Lewis is retired. You know what I mean? Ray Lewis is retired. That's 14 years of a career, and he retired. It was his time to step down, let the new guy step in. It's time for old wrestlers to learn the same lesson. Go sit in a booth, I'll sign your 8x10, and do that. But don't try to do what I'm doing anymore.
Have you seen any resistance or felt any resistance already?
A lot of people don't like my stance. I've had the same stance. I've been anti-legend since I started in this business. And it's not because I don't respect them. I respect them. I just don't need them in my way. I respect I Love Lucy. I don't need Lucy on my couch. I respect the Twilight Zone. I don't need to watch the Twilight Zone anymore. I need new shows. People need new things. If your brain can't assimilate that, that's not my issue.
So with all the fear being said, and with all the non-progressives out there, Do you feel that maybe this is going to turn away some of the talent that you have your eye on, or do you already have your talent lined up?
Oh, I think it's absolutely going to bring more. That's why we're the foundation. We're just the building. We're the cornerstone. There's going to be a movement that's going to go out to a lot of companies. I think people are going to start seeing it. It's also going to make indie guys step their game up. Because if you're not going to be, part of the solution, you're part of the problem. So if you're going to be one of those guys who, who's going to be in the background and play your role, then you do that, and we'll step right on you and go right on over top of you. But we're not going to sit around and wait for you. So I think it's going to make the cream's going to rise, and everybody else is going to fall. I mean, you're about to go into the JYD Memorial Tag Tournament. You guys aren't looking around going, who should we respect, who should we not? You're going in to win. The whole point of wrestling is to be an alpha dog. That's the point of this game. And if you're not an alpha dog in this game, you find yourself on the outside looking in, getting my sunglasses up there to the ring and running them backstage. There's jobs for you. You can ring the bell. But if you want to be in the business, step to the top or don't.
Why do you feel that the visionaries out there are silenced? I mean, not just out of fear, but anytime you see anybody, any promotion that has like a youth movement, if you will, a youth in revolt, I guess is what it pretty much boils down to. Why is this always shunned? Is this almost like a communistic or fascistic type of hierarchy that lays before all of us?
Well, I'll tell you, two things are happening in the wrestling business that kind of just are kind of an anchor around the neck. One, you have kids who rather do acrobatic, jumpy, flippy flip instead of actually getting to the gym, getting in shape, looking big, and punching each other in the face. And you also have guys who can't call it on the fly in the ring, who have to go in the back and have to map it out like they're doing a choreographed dance, like they're trying to be on America's Next Best Dance Crew or whatever. So you have a loss there, and you have the disconnect that they've been taught that, well, if this guy comes in, do whatever he says and just bow down. And I've never been a bow down type.
Well, I think the most feared words in all of wrestling, and Tasha and I have both said this, are "call it in the ring, kid."
Yeah. No. They'll look at you with wide, doughy eyes and be like, what do you mean? You mean I can't hit my 5 minutes into the match and then kick out of 6 pile drivers? Like, it's ridiculous.
Tasha, you come across this quite often as well. How do you feel about the people who can't call it in the ring? They have to, because I know you are notorious for not saying anything to anybody and completely making them go on their own. How do you feel about this?
Buy a ticket. Learn how to wrestle or buy a ticket. That's what I think. If you want to do choreography, buy a freaking tutu or some tap shoes.
That's right. That's exactly right. Get yourself a tutu and some tap shoes.
Yeah, I'm a wrestler, and I get so sick of seeing these things. And I understand what Caesar's saying about these older guys that need to be pushed out of the way. Unfortunately, we're talking about a lot of catch-22s tonight about a lot of the topics we're saying. There are so few young guys, and I'm not saying there's not any that can't, because there are young guys who can go, that can actually wrestle. But there are so few young guys who can call it in the ring or even follow it in the ring. And there are still some old guys who leave it all in the ring. So there's a fine line that you have to walk there to be able to get the absolute right combination to run an absolutely perfect, successful event.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Caesar, now you ruffled a few feathers not too long ago. You have a very successful, very entertaining vlog, a very insightful vlog called The Blacklist. Now, with that being said, you said that, I do believe it was, Vince McMahon hates black people.
I stand by that 100%. I've always said that. It actually, what got asked to me on Twitter was, would I ever go work for the WWE if the opportunity came? And I said, first off, no, I work for territory leagues. And second off, I don't think I could work for Vince McMahon. Just the way that I've actually seen his presentation of African Americans in this culture, there's no respect. There's not a lot of respect or sensitivity or even understanding. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, look at the last, I mean, let me give you an interesting stat. We've had about the same amount of black presidents as WWE champions. That should be the stat right there. And that's actually one if you put them together, so they're both half.
Yeah, you and I had this discussion on your YouTube also about there's not many WWE champions, and we had this conversation too. The Rock being the only one.
And he's half, so it's half. And Obama's half, so that's half. So I mean, and that says a lot. That means that either Vince doesn't think we can speak well enough to represent him at his events, or he doesn't like cornrows, or I don't know what his deal is. But it's been an ongoing thing. I mean, here's an interesting. You're from the South. There's been more black NWA champions than WWE champions. And I think the last one was Ron Killings when he was on TNA NWA. And he was the Suntan Superman, and he had the belt. But that should tell you something right there. And here's the ironic part. And this is the part that everybody can't stand when I point out. John Cena's gimmick is black guy. Right? He's a rapping white guy.
You're right.
So, and he's the company guy. So he likes our culture. He likes our music. Doesn't like our skin tone. And Vince did something that if another owner of any company ever done, he would have lost millions. I forget what year it was, but he was talking to Bobby Lashley, and he dropped the my nigga on him, right in front of Booker T and his wife.
Charmel, yes.
I can't think of any other owner of any other company that could do
that. And you being an African American, black, what have you ever encountered any racism? Because you're on the West Coast, pretty liberal. Have you seen it, or has it been? Because it's very, very prevalent here in the South. Let me tell you, it's very prevalent. Have you encountered any on the West Coast?
Without going into too much, Frank Murdoch and Donovan Morgan are probably two of the most racist guys in the world, and that was actually the school I was going to. But they're I call them sneaky racist. Like, will it be cool to you in your face, but you can hear the jokes when they're not. If you happen to walk by the office, you'll hear in-moms all through the office, but they won't say it to your face. So I call them sneaky racist, but they're racist. But not in the business. Luckily, I've been with the Samoans the whole time, so it really doesn't fly with them.
I would think not. But you and I have had this discussion, and I want everyone to be involved in this discussion. 205-316-9900 if you want to get involved in this, or tweet us at TheToBeDeterminedShow. Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger, and Ricardo Rodriguez and ADR. Abraham Washington, his Kobe joke, it seemed like they were going to get away from managers once again. How do you feel about this? Yeah, go ahead.
I think you said it was Vicky. With the excuse me, she kind of brought it back.
Yeah.
I think the success Vicky had actually helped kind of smooth it out. I got to say one thing about Zeb Coulter. That shit is scary. I'll tell you why. Because wrestling fans, and I know you're going to hate me when I say this, are not that bright. And they believe a lot of what gets said, and he says some stuff that I think it's just scary. Like, I don't know if that's the route to go. There's a lot of tension already. I'm not sure that's the right route to go, but it's a route. And also, from what I've heard, Dutch Mantel really believes that stuff, which makes it even kind of scary to give a racist platform like that.
Tasha, is Dutch really racist?
I think the Minuteman thing is racist. When somebody says faces that don't look like mine, I think.
The only way that I know how to explain that is Southern born, Southern bred.
Yeah, exactly. God, how can we say it without hurting too many feelings? I mean, we like to shoot on here, but you have to remember, Dutch Mantel, we know Dutch. Eddie knows Dutch. Tasha knows Dutch. I know Dutch because
I don't know Dutch, but from what I heard, from when I was sitting with Rikishi, he said Dutch has been prone to some racist comments. And we all know that inside the WWE office, P.S. Michael Hayes has been known to. The Mark Henry deal. So we know it's there. So I just think it's scary when you put that kind of ammunition in stupid people's hands. And unfortunately, a lot of WWE fans aren't the brightest of bright. You know what I mean? And that whole thing starting in the South was even crazier. Because that gimmick would have been, I mean, the heat they got in the South was immense. Imagine that same routine in San Diego.
Look, let's just say this really quick. Zeb Coulter, Dutch Mantel, all he's doing is he's doing a Tea Party conservative. This is the shit you hear when you put on Fox News. They just happen to put it on USA in a ring. Okay?
He's being himself. He's being himself.
Well, not only that, he's being an enormous amount of people.
He's being an enormous amount of people, which is, you know, and now with this whole pod bust with Jack Swagger, I don't know where they're going to go with it. They don't really have any more lily white, you know, guys like that they could do that with. I mean, maybe Heath Slater could slide into that role.
West Virginia.
Wow.
What about Big E? What if Big E was all of a sudden just like, you know what? I agree, and he'd be Herman Cain.
He will find a way to ruin him when he opens his mouth. He's a terrible talker.
Oh yeah, see, he doesn't need to talk. And once
he
again,
talks way worse. He talks worse than Swagger, which is saying a lot.
Look, let me say this really quick. My brother Orion Bishop, I swear to God, you look at Jack Swagger, he looks exactly like Orion Bishop with the exact same singlet, with the long hair, with the fuzzy beard. Except he's about 3 inches taller than my brother and about 200 pounds lighter than my brother.
Wow.
But the thing is that I've always said this, and Eddie, you can pull up the files from Beyond Ringside. Give Jack Swagger a manager, and he can make you money.
Oh, I said that from the first time he came out. I totally absolutely believe that.
But like you said, what does it mean with this bust? Like I said earlier, I think they should go, hey, you know what? The founding fathers grew hemp. You know, this country was founded on hemp and tobacco. So we the people.
Yeah. But the thing about WWE is they don't go for any logic.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, ma'am. But I do like what you just said, and that would actually make their case a lot stronger if they did stand up and say, this is the kind of stuff we're talking about. I can't even do this on my own time. You know, we the people. Unfortunately, every time Jack puts himself in the ring now, we the people is going to be the chant. And Vince cannot deal with that. It was trending today. I was like, really, what's going on?
That is great.
You know?
That is, I feel so, I don't feel bad for him. I just feel bad that somebody didn't clue him in. As I said earlier, it's like, hey man, you know, you gotta, don't carry more than you can eat, dumbass. And it's just the Rob Van Dam, it's the whole Rob Van Dam situation. He said Rob Van Dam and Sabu got caught with like a pound.
Yeah, in their trunk in Cleveland. Like, why are these guys doing it in some places where you know you're going to go to prison? Like, do it in California where it's a ticket and you go home. You know? Don't do it in Mississippi. Don't do it in Ohio where they're going to put you in prison. Like,
unless you're Willie Nelson.
Oh, man. I love Willie.
If you're Willie Nelson, all you have to do is sing for the judge and you're okay.
Or Toby Keith.
You're okay. Exactly.
Or who?
Toby Keith.
Oh, he's a stoner.
Okay. He's never gonna smoke weed with Willie again.
Amen. Thank you.
Really?
That's my 2 cents.
I don't know. I don't know. Toby Keith is like, you know, what is it like? Freedom cost $1.05 or something like that. What was it?
Oh my gosh!
I don't know.
I've never heard. Wait, freedom cost $1.05. Is that a song?
I have no idea.
Should I look that up?
I guess so, C's. I don't know. But anyways, back to the original story, sir. I do apologize. How do you feel about managers being prevalent now, like Ricardo being a real babyface manager, slapping the mat, getting the fans behind him? You said something when we were off air that I want you to say on air. How do you feel about Ricardo in contrast or in relation to ADR?
I think right now Ricardo is 90% of why ADR is over.
Yep.
I think ADR is he's really lucky that they found somebody talented who can make great facials, who can do the physical stuff that he can do. Because honestly, people have a lot of love for Ricardo. Like watching Ricardo's Twitter and watching his Facebook and watching people send him art, watching him grow as a character, you never would have thought that would have happened. And honestly, when they made the flip, when he got his beat down from the Big Show, people were. I mean, if they would have done the old school WWF thing and put him in the hospital, that fool would have gotten cards. people would have sent him get well cards. You know how they I forget who they did that for. They were like, you can send get well cards to this guy, and everybody sent him cards. People would be sending cards to Ricardo right now if he was in the hospital. You know, and ADR is blessed that they gave him that guy. You know, and because as good as ADR is, and he's good, and make no mistake about it, I love Lucha. I know his history. They weren't connecting with him. You know what I mean? But they were connecting with Ricardo. You know, so he got lucky. And as far as having the managers, man, it's an awesome thing because that's part of, like we just said with Jack. There are guys who I think I can list off about 5 or 6 guys who, if they had managers, would still be working for the WWE. Sheldon Benjamin being one of them. You know what I mean? And like who else?
The Blueprint, Matt Morgan.
Matt Morgan could have had a manager if he's been great. They kind of screwed him though because they gave him the stuttering gimmick, and that was dumb.
Oh.
Yeah. I know about that, didn't you?
Has anybody ever noticed most of the really super big guys that you need to make money with suck at talking and need a manager?
Yeah. Yeah,
Andre.
I do notice.
Andre.
Look at Sid. Look at Danny. They all suck.
Yeah. Look at Kane. Yeah. I think the worst thing they ever did was take the mask off Kane. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah,
I totally agree.
To me, Kane
if they're going
is
to do managers, they got to do stables. I mean, they started to kind of do it with Vicky when she had Swagger and Ziggler together, which, by the way, that was money. That should have stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact they couldn't get those 2 guys over shows the weakness of WWE created right now. So,
I think a good manager doesn't need creative. I think a real manager, all he needs is an agent. You tell me what Vince wants, and I get it done.
I get it done. Yes, I agree. I 100% agree. Speaking of that, this last Knox Pro, which is the home base of Territory League, I literally sat in the airport from 5 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock before my plane got off, got to the Domain, which is where the show was at 3 o'clock, and I was cutting a promo at 3:15. Like, I had time to change. He goes, man, I think we're losing the crowd. Go cut a promo, C's. I said, what are you talking about? He's like, go get the crowd back. I said, okay. That was my instructions. I'm sweating like a stuck pig. Get up to the ring, and I look around, and I'm like, let's go. And it worked, you know, so I think you're right. If, like, a good manager, a good head and mouth, you can make magic, so. And that's our job. You know, that's what we put ourselves up for. I know I'm not doing any crazy spots. I need to come in completely mentally focused, and I need to attack the mic when I get on like an MC. I treat it like rapping.
Yep, you're exactly right. But I mean, not to break kayfabe or anything. I mean, but that also is a testament to promoters like Rikishi and to promoters like even Dan Sawyer. I mean, there's guys out there. Tasha gets to do that. When you have trust in somebody, you can be like, hey, we need you to burn some time, or hey, we're losing the crowd, go out there. That's a testament to promoters having that faith in us to go out there and do that. But anyways, C's, how can everyone get in touch with you, sir, and what do you have upcoming?
We have territories in the works, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in Territory League that I can't get into because of confidentialities, but
yes, sir.
It's going to be huge. Hey, I got to say one thing. Tasha, are you there?
Uh-huh.
Dude, I watched you and this girl sitting in chairs, smacking the shit out of each other, like 5 times. I watched that. Dude, that was an awesome clip of video. That was awesome. I completely become a fan. But next time I talk to you, I'm going to know all your stuff. I'm going to totally mark out for you. I think you're an awesome female wrestler, and I wish you were on the West Coast more.
Thank you. And believe me, myself and the guys that I work as an agent for would love to come to the West Coast. Not sure how they would react to our Southern style of wrestling, though.
Oh, my God. I absolutely adore it. I think you guys are a great show. The NWA show you guys put on, it was a great, the production was really well done. The camera guys did a really good job. And you and that girl, what was her name? Christy, is that her name?
Christy, now which one are you talking about?
It was when you lost your belt. The match when you just lost your belt.
You're talking about Casey Carlisle. You're talking about when we did the bar chairs.
Yes, that was bananas. That was bananas. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, true story, and I don't break kayfabe very often. Wicked can tell you this, Eddie can tell you this, but I just have a real hate that deep set in for that. Let me explain why we had to do it that way. You can't tell from that clip that people hate my guts. And when I say people hate my guts, I have had fans waiting out behind the building with guns for me. Hate my guts.
Wow.
I was told that she had to get over as more of a heel than I did. That girl is nothing against her, but it is a weakness in professional wrestling. She is probably one of the nicest people that I've ever met in my life. She's just a sweet girl. She doesn't have any backbone. Well, if you don't have a backbone, you can't be a heel. Sorry.
True.
It's just not happening. So I had to do something to get her over. Wicked says there's no such thing as a tweener. I actually went out and told the people, true story, that I didn't like them, but nobody else could insult them. They were my people to insult.
Exactly.
No, that promo was freaking money. It was sweet.
Thank you. Thank you. We were all rolling because these people were just sucking it in. I mean, it was really great. It just worked out. The fans helped it work out the way it needed to. That was the really wonderful thing about it.
I watched it, and I was like, I had to watch it twice. It was freaking awesome, man.
But Caesar, how can everyone get in touch with you, Caesar?
Twitter, man. I'm at Caesar Black. I always have my little, bullet ray call. I always have my fire breathing Twitter machine on me. So you can always reach me at Twitter. I love new people. I love confrontation, if you can't tell. And I'm also at Knox Pro and at Territory League. And, that's it. That's the best way to get a hold of me. I really appreciate you guys' time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Caesar Black. Caesar, the door is always open. We're about to take our last break of the evening. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mad Dog Dan Sawyer from GCW Pro Wrestling will be on. Caesar, you got something to say, sir, before we go to break?
Vince McMahon does not like black people.
With that being said, we're taking our last break of the evening. The To Be Determined show right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the To Be Determined show right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. This is the Take It Home portion of the show. Thank you so much to Jason Nesmith for coming on. Thank you so much for Caesar Black. Hey, Corey Smarkrage, thank you as always, the Smarkrage. Tasha had to bail. She's on her way to the gym. As always, you guys know, loyal listeners of the show, you can't fault the woman for staying in great shape. So, Tasha, thank you, and Tasha knows best. We'll be back next week, as well as, drumroll please, we have a special guest next week, and we'll make you wait on that. But right now, GCW, the man behind GCW and the JYD Memorial Tag Team Tournament, the most prestigious tag team tournament in all the Southeast, Mad Dog Dan Sawyer. Dan, how you doing tonight, sir?
I'm awesome, man. I'm just getting excited about this Saturday at Pell City. Phone's been ringing off the hook. Tons of tickets going out there, but there's still plenty left. Come on. Come one, come all to the 2013 JYD tournament. So it's going to be an interesting night, my friend. And, your boys are in there, and I know you're 100% on that. And, Mad Dog and O'Hagan are ready. And, it's all business. We understand that. We won't take it personal. But it's going to be a great night because not only is the trophy and the plaques and all that in place for the winner of this tournament, but the GCW Tag Team Championship is also out there.
Oh, I see sweetening the pot. But
no, it's always that way. It's always that way. If the commissioner is still in the earshot there,
Yellow,
he can give you the thumb up there.
Yepers.
So, yeah. It goes with it, so
we'll fantastic.
See what happens. Yeah, and I know that you guys are fired up. Great intimidating team, not taking nothing away from you. Spiral, Micah Taylor, can't take nothing away from that underground faction. I know that Eddie may have told you, but Jake Cole and Shane Fox will be facing Micah Taylor and Spiral, because Scotty Blaze is going to Michigan for the TNA gut check. He got accepted, so he's taking a step up to Michigan and seeing what he's got going. So best of luck to him in that. But his spot's. I know that everybody's probably not happy about that, saying it's not right or whatever, but they did advance, so we'll see what happens.
Whose idea was it to add Jake Cole to this? Did Shane Fox get to pick this? Did you pick this?
I didn't pick this, man. I didn't pick this.
Did Eddie do this?
No, Scotty Blaze. When he said he was going to the TNA deal, he threw Jake Cole's name in the hat because he got knocked out and not able to be there. And then you guys did the handicap with O'Hagan, and you defeated him. And I know you're like, this is dirty politics somewhere along the way, but the vote was cast, and here we are.
It's just, here it is Wednesday, and it's Saturday is the event, and I'm just now being told that Jake Cole is replacing Scotty Blaze, Scott Fantastic, whatever.
Wait. Wicked, I gotta go one better than that. You're not the one who was awake at 8 o'clock this morning after 3 hours sleep in a teleconference with Sawyer and the rest of the board of directors, okay?
Yeah, but you didn't tell me. That's what I'm saying.
I haven't had a chance to!
I literally have to get off the phone and call Damon and Chris and be like, guys, you're not gonna believe this.
Charge subject to change. That's what the one guy kept saying today.
Asterisk.
Mm-hmm.
Did you call me an ass?
Asterisk.
Well, I hope Scott Fantastic loves his $250 T-shirt he's receiving. That's the joke we have here. The TNA Gut Check, we call it a $250 T-shirt. I was let in on the joke finally, so.
Well, I hope he comes back with more than a T-shirt because, it's good for everyone if people make it to the next level. So,
he will make it.
I think he'll make
a great T-shirt. Because let's talk. Well, let's break it down really quick. Because last week we kind of broke down the teams. Now with Scotty being gone, and Scotty brings that experience. Shane Fox took time away. He has been in the business some time, but quite like Joey Lightning, he took quite a bit of time away. With Jake Cole, who is very green in this business, do you think that this helps or hinders cable access Showtime Shane Fox?
Well, I think some of the high flying won't be there with Cole, but you got more of a ground and pound kind of brute strength kind of guy, because he is one of the strongest guys in the locker room. That's no kidding. I'm telling you, I see the guy hitting the weights. I see him at the gym, and he's got a lot of heart. I'm not saying he would be less or whatever. The experience level, Knox and Taz, or excuse me, sorry, sorry. I got hit in the head too many times. That DC, David Christopher, David Christopher,
DK. Hey. Look, okay, Mad Dog.
Actually, if I could interject for one hot second, the transplantation of Jake Cole, there's your word for the day. There you go. Into the position where Scotty Blaze was in the tag team combination with Showtime Shane Fox. Granted, you're losing some experience, but I will agree 100%. You've got an offset for Micah Taylor. Micah Taylor's not necessarily the high flyer. Jake Cole's not necessarily a high flyer, but he's not afraid to go to the top rope. Jake Cole also took the champ, Micah Taylor, to a nice little stretch a while back, one-on-one in the GCW ring. Now, Spiral versus Shane Fox, that is going to be an air attack all the way across the board. So if you take the enthusiasm and the willingness to learn and what he has already learned in pro wrestling in Jake Cole, team him up with Shane Fox, who does have a little bit more experience in tag team wrestling, flashback, ZWO, I think that they're going to give a tremendous account of themselves against Micah and Spiral. And if Micah and Spiral are not careful, if they get the least bit overconfident, Jake Cole and Shane Fox could pull the upset.
I don't think Micah overlooks anybody with such short notice. I mean, here I am, thinking. I have the lineup in front of me, and I'm having to X stuff out. Thank you. I like to be prepared. As much as I like to be prepared, Micah right now is dissecting every Jake Cole match he can.
And he's been in the ring with Cole,
just in case we face them.
Now, also, there's another bombshell
knows.
that I have to drop on you that Dan hasn't told you about yet. In your second round match, there has been a substitution also. The Unlucky Charms will not be taking on the combination of High Definition. They'll be taking on the combination of Jeremy Foster and Cody O'Connor.
You had my attention there for a minute. I was like,
oh my God. I know. I was like, wait a minute. What is he talking? You are an idiot.
No, I'm an ass. There's a difference.
Lord have mercy. But but Dan, Mr. Sawyer, you and O'Hagan are such great Irishmen yourselves. Much respect to O'Hagan. O'Hagan stepped up and did what a lot of people would never do. He walked into the mouth of the beast against the Unlucky Charms 2-on-1. He didn't wait on anybody to come out the back to help him. He didn't ask for help. He went straight to us as a man. With that being said, he got smashed. He got wiped all over Palmerdale. With his loss against Micah Taylor, with his loss and losing the most prestigious title you guys have, with this being the most prestigious tag team event in all of the Southeast, sir, do you think that, I don't think we're really breaking anything, what do you think he has left in any capacity for this event, sir?
I've seen him since the loss of the belt. He had some down moments. I mean, that's part of, losing the belt, but he has prepared himself for this tournament. And also he's prepared himself by watching that match and trying to figure you guys out. It's going to be an honor to get to touch these guys in the ring. As many cards as I've been on with Damon Taz over the years, we have never locked horns. I've never had a chance to wrestle Mr. Knox. So, and I've never had to compete against you across the ring, managing someone. Because, so it's going to be good.
Well, Dan, that's what happens when you never let me manage Ron Bishop. Because,
No, come on now. That's not the case.
Personal foul.
Hey, you shut up. I'm messing with Dan. But let me just say this. Let me say this really quick. It will be an honor to face you. Damon knows it. But this isn't Damon Taz. Damon Taz is dead. Damon Taz was long gone and buried. Damon Christopher is a whole nother animal. And you don't really wrestle against Chris. You just hope and pray to whatever deity that you survive. Have you seen the man? He took an Atlanta phone book. He took an Atlanta phone book, and this is a complete shoot, and ripped it in half in the middle of the ring. Ripped it in half. I'd never seen anything like it. I saw Big Dick Dudley on the old ECW pay-per-views. In all honesty. Now, we all know Big Dick Dudley was juiced up on steroids to high heaven. Everybody has, that's common knowledge. Common knowledge is like, but Chris Knox is a 100% pure athlete. The man is a legitimate, he legitimately has 7 losses in MMA and a bare knuckles brawler, a world renowned bare knuckles brawler. Do you see any way, and we know that with your past, that you can survive this, sir?
No, absolutely. And I've been doing Gracie Jiu-Jitsu for the last 6 weeks, hardcore, 3 times a week, and I can hold my own in the tough man. I was one of the few guys that ever put Hardbody Harrison on his ass in 1997. And then, of course, he tries to get me disqualified, and I get to wrestle a match and said I thumbed him in the eye. Of course, now he's getting thumbed in the eye and the backside every night in the joint. So, best of luck to you, Hardbody. If it ain't easy, and that's just the way it is. But I can take a punch, but I can give one, and, we're just going to see what happens this Saturday night. And, you guys got somebody, you got to get past O'Connor and Foster. And I know they're young, and I know they're not near as big, but they have been tag team champions before, and they have won the JYD tournament before.
My problem with these guys, Mad Dog and I said this last week, I don't think they can get along. I think they're their own worst enemy. I think if we just kind of lay back and let them just fight it out, I think we'll be okay. But no, for real, I like Jeremy Foster. I've told you this before, and anybody that's listened. So Jeremy Foster is a hell of a talent. Cody, I'm really not familiar with. I do know that he may or may not be in the right state of mind that he needs to be. I don't think I think he's more worried about the 8 or 9 women that he brings to the show than he does about this match, because
they do bring the ladies, and
oh, yes, they do.
Ones, and I got to give props to the whole audience. It's not a bunch of grannies anymore.
Mm-mm.
I mean, we got some hotties out there, and they don't miss shows, and we appreciate them. So hats off to you ladies listening. And I know that if Kaz is listening, he's like, hey, they're coming to see me. He put the C in GCW, Global Kaz Wrestling. Oh, no, I'm sorry about that. That's someone else.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I was trying to get O'Hagan to come on with us, and Brother Man's out on a date, I think. So, yeah. Nah, I don't know exactly what he's doing. I know he was training earlier today, and we're training tomorrow night. So that's doing the jits, and we'll see what happens, man. Hey, may the best team win. That's all I can say. Hey, and I had to knock the rust off. I admitted it to Eddie on Sunday. I had to knock the rust off to get ready for this thing. And, I know I'm not a spring chicken, but I still got some gas in the tank, so we'll see what happens there. And before you laugh about that, it's not the Taco Bell or pork and beans or something I ate, so it's legit fire, so we'll see what happens. And, I know there's a lot of things to consider. Micah and Spiral and Fox and Cole, but it's a great night. We got Sojo Bolt, so join us. She's taking on Tracy Taylor, good ladies match. And Johnny Swinger's taking on Joey Lightning, which you already spoke of Mr. Lightning earlier. So, come on down, check it out. It's going to be a fantastic night. There is no one else going to put on 7 matches, 8 matches on a card, and not, we're not one of those groups that has 4 matches and guys have to come back in a 6-man and they take 2 30-minute intermissions. You're getting 2.5, 3 hours worth of wrestling every time you come to a GCW show. And that's a shoot, brother.
How can everyone get pre-sale tickets, and what time do the doors open? So the usual rundown, sir.
Oh, yeah. It's you can email gcwmedia@yahoo.com, or you can show up at 7 o'clock Central Time, that is, at the Pell City Civic Center in Pell City, Alabama. Bell is at 7:30. We will be prompt because these tag matches, we may be going all night. So you ready for a full night? How often do you get to see more than one tag match on a show, even on a national level?
Really?
Not since the Crockett Cup. I mean, then we're going old school there.
Yeah, no kidding.
WCW, NWA stuff. They would stretch it out, for 2 months, and something was brought to mind.
This is the closest thing to it, to be honest with you.
I agree. And looking back at those times, the Malenko brothers, Dean and his brother were wrestling, and we never even knew he had a brother. So I didn't until the Crockett Cup. I swear to God, it didn't. But he made a career in Japan, working for Funaki. Not as in the one as we know, but his uncle. Doing the shoot stuff. So, it's, you never know. Come on out, check out these teams. I'll tell you, there's great teams in this tournament. The Charms, definitely. Spiral, Micah, High Definition, Mad Dog and O'Hagan, and J. Cole and Showtime Shane Fox. So come root for someone. You know, Heel Nation, bring it. Come on. You know, come cheer for who you want to cheer for. We're going to have a great time regardless. Peanut's going to call somebody yellow. Loud little girl's going to scream. And, hey, Hot Ice is going to have signs. You know, so it sure is Nemesis's hair will be on a mohawk. It's going to be a fantastic night. Maybe we can get Eddie to bring out the vest. Maybe we can get Eddie to break out the vest.
Oh, my God.
Oh, please.
Tournament time. Vest.
There you go.
Please.
Matter of fact, real quick, you're leaving out two matches that are drawing attention. The Battle of the Sensations as well as, and I'll let you hit that one first.
Okay, got new sensation Steve Styles being challenged by Latino sensation Antonio Garza.
Also, Wild Child versus the Mean One.
Dude, what?
The Wild Child Drew Adler taking on Mean Mike Posey.
Oh, Jesus, I thought you said the wild one. I was like...
No, I'm not talking about Will. Here. I'm not talking about Will Owens.
I thought,
you talking about lactate titty? You know, I've never seen a man squirt milk before. You know, get off the gas, brother. Get on the treadmill. But, no. Yeah, Drew Adler versus Mean Mike Posey. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, my God. Hold on. How tall is Drew Adler? 6'5"?
I think.
and how short is Posey?
He's like 5'7", 5'8".
This is going to be awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
And I'm a fan of Steven Styles. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Steve Styles is awesome. I like the Riddick glasses. Maybe I'll break those out for the tournament.
Wait, hold on. Is it Steve Styles or Steven Styles?
Let's just go with Steve.
What day of the week is it?
I always call him Kid, so Kid I do it with everybody besides Jeff. I'm like, Jeffrey, come here. I love Jeffrey. I want to say
he's great, you know.
I want to say this really good. Thank you for putting tag teams on, even if we weren't involved in this. You know this. This is my third JYD Memorial Tag Team Tournament I've been a part of. The fact that you use managers, you use women's wrestling, and you use tag teams. That's the three things that are missing out on the national stage.
I agree.
And I was talking today to Stanley Robinson of UIW about that, and Stanley's doing the same thing. He's bringing in women's wrestling. He uses managers. It's very few and far between. Territory League is the closest thing to a national broadcast that uses that. Besides, Ring of Honor doesn't really use that many women's wrestling. I know they're starting to, but they haven't been. Territory League is the closest thing to that. So I think that there's a reason why this is the most prestigious tag team tournament in the Southeast, and I hope that everybody's ready for some wrestling, because this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight to the very end. And may the best team win. And that's going to be the unlucky charm, let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, as Patrick Swayze said in Roadhouse, opinions vary. And, you know, I think Mad Dog and O'Hagan's got a really good chance. And, you know, that's why we do it. We'll see. It's an athletic competition, and may the best team win. I do want to say this, you know, someone said something smart online a few days back about our wrestling, and, you know, I told them we're the only ones that we don't run spot shows, you know. We run a territory, and I've been in Pell City for 10 years straight. I've been in Palmerdale going on 11 years straight, and that's 2 shows a month. But not to mention, we're going to Knoxville this month. We're going to Tryon, Georgia. You know, and we're back in Locust Grove, and there's another location in Georgia that I'm not allowed to speak of at this moment, but
confidentiality clause.
Let's just say it's getting ready.
But you will here, right?
That's
not
right.
Yet.
When the time is right, you'll be the first one to know. You'll be the first one to know.
But Mr. Sawyer, before we let you go, really quick, if you will, tell Miss Sawyer that I apologize and we're sorry. Because if we get to face you, we are going to destroy you. Nothing personal. It's just business, sir.
Oh, no, absolutely. And,
Jiu-jitsu!
You know, just tell Mr. Knox and Mr. Christopher's family the same. And, I saw Mr. Christopher at the WWE show in Birmingham, Alabama. And his kids liked me that day and slapped me 5. They're not going to want to do that after it's over. They're probably going to want to slap my face. So, we're having to, reacclimate ourselves. You're going to see something you haven't seen before. And
oh my God.
The 5-Star Fight Club. Yeah, I'm going to keep my clothes on. I don't want to kill the house. But,
since you're not going to be washing your balls in the sink, are you?
No, they have 2 nice showers. They have 2 nice showers there. I like to do that there.
Bad dog. Lord have mercy. Mr. Sawyer, in all honesty, thank you for coming on. We will see you Saturday night, sir. Eddie, you want to run a recap of the event, sir?
Folks, yes, real quick, let me run these down. There are 3 huge events in 3 great cities coming up this weekend. February the 23rd in Mocksville, North Carolina, 622 North Main Street. It is a pro wrestling benefit for Stephen Fry. Stephen is in a fight right now with Hodgkin's lymphoma. This show will take place at the Brock Gym, 622 North Main Street. Gunner. You recognize him from TNA. A lot of old school NWA fans know him as the Universal Soldier. Phil Shatter will be taking on Mr. Mid-Atlantic Damian Wayne for the NWA National Championship. The Raging Bull Manny Fernandez in a Brass Knuckles Championship match against the champion, the Beastmaster Rick Link. You've got some great stars in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia, all converging on Mocksville this Saturday night. In the benefit for Stephen Fry. I had a chance to speak with him, do interviews with him, Tuesday night conversations with him and Manny Fernandez recently that are being broadcast on Beyond Ringside Radio. Let me spin around to monitor 4 real quick. And this coming Sunday in Millersville, Tennessee, you've heard us talk about it for a couple of shows now here on the To Be Determined Show. It is Fighting for Aurora. In Millersville, Tennessee, 1214B Louisville Highway at the Sawmill Arena. Christian Haim, Jason Nesmith, Chase Stevens, Eric Andrews, all on the card and a whole lot more. And, of course, our co-host here on the To Be Determined Show, Tasha Simone, in a mixed tag match with Brian Casanova as they take on Miss Rachel and the anti-bully, Alan Shepard. And, folks, we've just been talking about it. This Saturday night, Pell City, Alabama, at the Pell City Civic Center. Bell time, 7:30 p.m. Doors open at 7. It is the finals of the JYD Memorial Tag Team Tournament. This is a great annual event for our friends in Central Alabama, Eastern Georgia. Do not miss this. The Unlucky Charms, High Definition, Jake Cole and Shane Fox, Micah Taylor and Spiral, the 5-Star Fight Club, Mad Dog Dan Sawyer and Mr. O'Hagan, singles matches with Steve Styles, Antonio Garza, ladies challenge match, the Island Girl Tracy Taylor taking on Sojo Bolt, and that much more. This Saturday night in Pell City, Alabama. Don't miss it. Global Championship Wrestling.
And with that being said, thank you to Caesar Black. Thank you to Jason Nesmith. Thank you to Corey Smarkrage. Thank you, Dan Sawyer. Thank you, Tasha. Thank you, Eddie. One more time around for Mad Dog Dan Sawyer.
Thank you very much. Thank you for To Be Determined. Nemesis Eddie, it's always a pleasure. Dog's off a leash, dog's going to bite, and the dog's in the ring, the dog's going to fight. And that's this Saturday night in Pell City, Alabama, at the Civic Center, JYD 2013. We're going to have some new tag team champions. It's Mad Dog and O'Hagan. Come find out. See it 7:30 Central Time.
For Fast Eddie Lane.
Let's run it real quick. This coming Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Central, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Beyond Ringside Sports Radio returns live. Yours truly, Mark Mabo Bowman, the Oracle of Amos, the Wicked Nemesis, and you never know who might just pop in. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all information. Also, this Sunday night at 10 Eastern, 9 Central, Global Championship Wrestling's GCW Radio returns live right here to Beyond Ringside Radio. Catch us both 2 great live shows this weekend. Drop over and say hi personally at FastEddieLane.com.
BeyondRingside.com next Wednesday, the To Be Determined Show. As you just heard, Beyond Ringside, 5:30 Central Standard Time on BeyondRingside.com as well. At Wicked Nemesis for myself, Wicked Nemesis Enoch on YouTube, Wicked Nemesis on Facebook. The Unlucky Charms have a Facebook fan page. The Merchants of Death have a Facebook fan page. Just go out and support local independent wrestling. If you don't support it, don't bitch about it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. To everyone, this is the To Be Determined Show. This is the Oracle of Ominous, the Architect of Intellect, the Wicked Nemesis. Thank you all.